And we move over to Beijing here for our second matchup at the start of week 11 with JDG in their home arena looking to take on the Chengdu favorites of OMG. Here back in the LPL English, we welcome you. My name is Hysterics, joined by Raz, and another series with a lifeline attached to it, this time over to JDG.
JD needs to win. That's just the reality. Yep. You know, no mucking around. They need to be able to find that victory simply because if they lose this series, they're out. And that's just something where, you know, they shouldn't have been in this position.
That's right.
Last series, they were favored to win.
That's right. And in spring, the run always comes back, and we remember that this was 8th seed who ran all the way up to versus IG in the finals, who made the miracle run, but they made playoffs. That's what the difference is here coming into summer.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the previous series simply because, like, that was the expectation back then. We kind of ran through it. And, you know, going up against LGD, they shouldn't have even gotten to Game 3. But the difficulties around this series got to show kind of like, you know, what their expectations were. You got Baron. They didn't want to base, right? There were too many times where they had pretty large leads or pretty good positions on the map, and they made one crucial error that costed them just about everything. And so this was another great example. They bring in Kanabi for this one and instantly kind of just lose out in the entire ordeal. And it just kind of stinks simply because you're right, that expectation is, you know, you have a spring split finalist. And it's not even just as though it was a lucky, like the luck of the draw here. Last year, they were good.
Yep.
Last year, they were a playoff team, and then even then, they were a team that should have been, a lot of people said, you know, going into Worlds just because of how strong they were in the gauntlet. But now they find themselves having more of a conversation about, like, what is our consistent identity? Bot lane's not shoring out well. Jungle is very inconsistent, and so they found their answer.
And the answer is like in the past that we've said JDG, it's a dumpling brother duo. That's what the identity of this team has always come to, for at least me, coming into the LPL. But changing out today.
They broke them up.
They're gone. Morgan and Xiaohan now into the LPL, but where's Zoom?
Much like everyone else, you start out when you hear this news, you're a little bit questioning the entire situation because Zoom was, and still is, for me at the very least, seen as the second best top laner in the LPL based off his performance in finals. He comes into this one, it's a little bit more of a rocky split, but the issues aren't to do with him. To the bot side of the map and the jungle that really has an issue. So I love the Xiaohan pickup. I think Xiaohan coming in works really well.
Yeah, I agree.
But then I dug in a lot more. You know, in the LDL, Jingdong Miracles is actually a first place team, a team that's favored to be winning out the championship, find themselves in you know, the LPL if they are able to accomplish that. But for JD, that realized they're in danger zone here in the main team. So they bring in Morgan and Xiaohan, who are their primary focus, right? As you can see, if they lose this series, they're out. So they understand the situation they're in. And Morgan, if you watch his games, he's a phenomenal talent, actually. He is strong mechanically. I think he's able to play out both winning and losing lanes to the T. You know, in team fights, he's exceptionally strong. He actually plays very well. It's a shame that he's not on a mainstay roster. And I'm talking about, like, starting roster. And in this case, he's behind Zoom. And so there's a real challenge there. But I feel like if he's on any other team, like, he would have a larger chance. So we'll see what he's able to do in his opportunity here going up against OMG.
Especially when he is going with his jungler. He's going with Xiaohan, who you mentioned there before, you know, is still a good replacement, it feels like, for Flawless, who we've been questioning a lot here in the LPL and on this roster coming into summer.
Yeah, he's a consistent player. He plays towards the top side of the map.
And he's been on JDG in the LPL before.
I'm going to spoil this one, by the way. DX Master has something ready for you guys. He's ready to wipe out the competition.
Oh my.
Yeah!
You know, I kind of like the idea of wiping out 50% of the people on stage. Take the enemy out before they even get on the stage. And what's that on his arm?
Oh my god.
Oh, he's taking a picture. Just sneaking a peek on that one.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, OMG.
让我们请上黑暗势力 OMG.
Welcoming them to the stage. This man.
He's a treat.
He is an absolute treat. As we go into the frost.
5.
Curse towards the top lane. You got World 6 in today. Icon and the bottom lane in Kane. And
Let him announce it. He was very clear. All right, I'm not going to step on his toes. Let the man speak.
I apologize. We'll wait for the next roster, Raz.
Thank you.
I'll let him have his time.
Thank you. I love this man. But yeah, as you can see, that's the roster coming up. So Kane in 5 is going to be an interesting addition. But he ain't done.
我们的老朋友了，但是今天他们要想冲破黑暗，不光要燃烧自己的小宇宙，还要拿出200%的实力，才能将命运掌握在自己手上。
Oh, I feel it.
来吧，让我们请上圣斗士金斗。
Bring the boys out.
Just for this.
You got to experience it.
Xiaohan, Yagao, LvMao, homie.
Oh, he's my home.
OMG didn't get that coach attachment. I feel the love for JDG coming into this one, but of course, welcome. I know he's going to say something else. He always
Morgan
does.
and... Oh, yeah, I'm going to shut up now.
什么是命运？我命由我不由天。
Oh, tell him.
Destiny arrives all the same. And now it's here. Or should I say, I am inevitable.
Yeah!
I didn't even watch the movie, and I know that's great.
I love this man.
That was magnificent. I don't care what they've got planned for the finals. This man needs to be there.
And if you haven't seen that movie, please watch it. Not right now, though. Watch the game first. But watch the movie afterwards.
Yes.
And don't give me this whole legal mumbo-jumbo. I know you kids out there can watch it anytime you want.
Oh my god, that's great. Well, with JDG's arena, every time we get the treat, and I always forget about it. I go to Beijing and I go, okay, you know, JDG's home arena, what's so special about it? People ask me that same question, and I say that every single time. DX Master, he changes it up.
He does.
This time he went that extra mile, you know.
He does.
That would have taken a while. And he shaved his head just for it.
So I'm actually surprised he had his hand out there, simply because in before the show started, he had the Infinity Gauntlet. He had a toy gauntlet on his arm.
Oh, did he?
I'm surprised he didn't want to roll with that, but that's cool. He went purple. I didn't expect the purple.
No.
I actually fully did not expect that purple.
No one expects the purple.
But
Well,
anyways, that's the power you want to hear. I want to hear from Icon now.
小5跟2的6回归的话，就会让我们的游戏在前期变得更加顺畅一点。我觉得我们队伍磨合的还行吧，然后执行力方面，我觉得还要加强一点，因为有很多新人嘛，所以说就打的时候很乱，可能每个人都在说话，就可能听不到互相在说什么，有的时候。
Yeah, I mean, I love to hear it from the man himself, because that's the reality that we see from OMG. You want to just see the same starting 5. Because even though you can think, hey, maybe it can be done better by this player in this game, no, think about the long term a little bit. Because, yeah, just communication, what you guys don't hear out there is important. People need to know their roles within the team. And if you're just coming in, you know, people will communicate too much information, or, you know, will step over the toes of the main communicators or shot callers. So we'll see, though. No.
I mean, OMG have to think about the long term, right? They're already out of playoffs. This is a team that needs to think about 2020 and onward, and what roster works better and how they can move into that year with a stronger start and with stronger communication, as you mentioned.
I think the best way to look towards 2020 is to make your stake right now. Simply because a lot of the times, you know, the way the decisions for roster changes come into 2020 is to be able to, like, how did this team leave a lasting impression? Were they able to show growth at the very end? Because if they haven't, then a lot of changes are, once again, because it's OMG, will start to come through.
That's true.
So I want to see this team being able to find real in-game success. And even if it is a loss, something within the game that shows to me that their early game leads are turning into mid-game advantages. something that oftentimes, rolls away from them.
Really good time to do it. OMG for them. Already out of playoffs, but the ability to shut JDG down and keep them from getting close. 5-8 for JDG. It's not good enough here. They need this series win to stay in contention.
All right, Silas banned outright. Karma as well. I would say Sejuani is a pretty good pickup. I want to see what Xiaohan's willing to go for. He's more of an Olaf type, which is why I love the fact that OMG banned it immediately. I think that just skyrockets the brand and power of the Sejuani.
I know throughout the game we'll have a larger discussion about champion pools here, but especially since you're facilitating Zoom, you're taking over his role. You want to see something strong started here for JDG in game 1 as Gragas is the first lock-in.
Okay. I mean, I'm not too happy with the Gragas pick. I think LvMao is a great Gragas, so it's a nice flex.
True.
But it just works well for OMG, a team that actually struggles a lot of times with just having direction within the game. To lock in a great team fighting facilitator, ability to start fights immediately, and great 2v2 strength, so you can go straight towards Icon. I think Icon would really benefit from having maybe a Yasuo. I think Yasuo would work out. And Aatrox would be a perfect pickup right now.
You talk about the 2v2 with Aatrox there in the mix. I mean, is it a no-brainer here to OMG want to take a different direction? Remember that 5 is a Tahm Kench player, and they might want the bottom lane.
All right.
Ooh, okay, that just disappeared.
Maybe she pressed E and picked Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a possible one.
Okay, so Kane on Kai'Sa.
I mean, if I'm just looking towards it, I think they're fine if the enemy picks up the Aatrox because you can counterpick with the Renekton. Renekton is a really strong option into it. And they just want to at least get a solidified Kai'Sa because Kane is a pretty damn good Kai'Sa player. See what we end up having to roll into because Lucian Lulu is a very strong duo lane.
Yeah.
There we go. It's a good all-in that you're able to have here, and it also sets up the Kai'Sa really well in early team fight. So a pretty large front line coming in from OMG.
I like the setup for the bottom lane here. The interaction's already there, but now we go to solo lanes once again. And for OMG, Curse has been a real strong suit alongside Icon. But what will they leave open?
Now, I would say right from the get-go, top lane matchups are going to be important. For people that don't know Morgan, I mean, he's the Korean import.
Yep.
He's come through from JD Miracle's LDL team. He's a great carry top laner. He actually is a pretty exceptional bruiser as well, so the Kled ban is a pretty smart one. I would lean towards more of a Vladimir and Aatrox pickup from him. He actually performs really well in bad matchups for Vladimir. So whenever I've seen Jace versus Vladimir matchups, you usually see Jace take firm control of that. He's able to come in with just a 5 CS deficit sometimes. So it's actually kind of impressive to see that level of aptitude on said champions.
Yep.
But I think Aatrox is firmly his best, so we'll see what he ends up getting on the second phase.
Well, still available. Kiana was banned away here by JDG, and it doesn't look like they want to take that direction. 15 seconds to decide as Camille's already gone. Kled's there. There's a big target towards these big late game scalers.
They just want to take away the split pushing elements. They know that Xiaohan and Morgan, the reason why Xiaohan is here is primarily because he enables Morgan and gets some split pushing on side lanes, is able to support him. If we're just talking about, if it was just Morgan and Flawless, there would be an issue in terms of communication. They are both, actually that'd be too many Koreans on the roster. That would actually just be against the rules.
Okay, yeah.
So that's fair. That's fair. But I would say, even if that wasn't the case, I think there would be issues in trying to figure how to work alongside each other in the early portions of the game. But Xiaohan's played with him for a good majority of Morgan's career, so they actually know how each other operate, and they play solely topside anyways in their earlier teams. So works out well here. That's the Aatrox I wanted to see from him.
Yep. Finally get it sorted. No brainer. It's going to be against the Renekton most likely, but what does Yagao go for?
Lock in Yagao Zoe.
If you want success out of this mid laner, you look at Zoe. Every single time, it turns well for him. And we get to see it here in game 1.
His Jace and his Zoes are his best champions, and it's nice that Silas is back into the meta. I know they banned it, but it also just helps Yagao's champion pool. That when we talk about, his champion pool is large, but his effective champion pool, the champion pool that he's really comfortable and has a high aptitude in, it is really limited. And so for Yagao to be able to have his Zoe pick, really nice, and it really gives now JD a focus within their composition. Great pick and poke that they're now able to have between Gragas and Zoe. Your bot side is going to be flying. I think they have a really good laning phase down there. And then Morgan has a very comfortable Aatrox.
Look at OMG though, and look at that all in, just from 0 to 100 it feels like, and the gap close that comes with this composition.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, OMG get the exact counter that we were talking about. Renekton, Sejuani. Top side is going to be tough for Morgan in his first round. I still think Morgan having Aatrox in general is a positive, but if we're just talking about OMG concocting a strong counter pick to both mid and top lane, they've done just that. So we'll see how they're able to execute upon it.
Very different environment as well here. So while Morgan has had success just on that counterpoint, this is now the LPL. This is his debut running into Curse, who I've always said has been a great addition to OMG for the future. A great mechanical top laner. This is where he'll be tested.
Yeah, Curse is, once again, I mean, for OMG, their problem is never their talent. Even hearing Icon speak, when Icon made a mention of what the problems was plaguing OMG, he just mentions execution and, you know, communication. And execution, I wouldn't say is mostly isn't on like mechanical ability. It's more so team play execution, being able to enable a play when people are all communicating and having different ideas at the same time. Hopefully they can have these 5 people plan numerous games in a row so they can sort this issue once and for all.
Finally get to a respectable point as we near the end of summer. For OMG, chances are gone. It's about solidifying themselves for next year. But for JDG, their matchups are limited. Their series need to be wins. Otherwise, they'll eliminate all possibility of going to playoffs here in summer. And our spring finalists will be knocked out if they underestimate OMG.
听听，他刚刚把遗愿都说出来了。
All right, we got a lot of OMG fans in the vicinity.
In Beijing as well. It's JDG's home arena.
I'm telling you, OMG, regardless of the recent failures they have, because of how rich the organization is, and on top of that, or at least the history of the organization, and on top of that, just the branding some of the players have. Like, while they've been swapping a lot of players, Icon is one of the OGs of the organization. He's done incredibly well since Cool, of course, left.
Yep.
Once upon a time.
Made him a namesake here as well. So
but yeah, he's incredibly popular. So he just follows him, and hopefully they find that level of success. And imagine an OMG's popularity level when they start winning. I mean, I know winning teams just instantly skyrocket in popularity for obvious reasons, but for the fact that OMG being able to sell out their venue and then being able to at least invade other people's venue in the fashion that they have, if they've become a playoff team, then all bets are off.
So everything becomes bigger from there. As we go into game 1, let's take stock, because through the matchups we've talked about, I don't think we talked as heavily about this bottom lane where Imp is now back on the Lucian, accompanied by LvMao. And it's going to be the area this time. That's pretty standard stuff here from what we've seen out of the Cat in previous games. Yeah,
when we first saw Yuumi being played in competitive, it was a lot of area, and then people moved towards Comet simply because of how much damage she was actually throwing in lane. So I like the fact that we're seeing an area here because the laning phase is already pretty strong for them. The extra bit of shielding, I think, is really helpful. Nice bait, buddy. You thought you could get me?
Poke's not as great as it used to be, but of course with Airy, the change around as well in the meta. With Prowling Projectile getting so heavily nerfed, you change to more the supportive style.
And a small thing for all you non-Yuumi players out there, cut down is just wonderful. And you just have 0 HP, let me tell you. In terms of just HP on champions, you are the lowest. And I'm not going to count Kled because Skarl is cheating. So you're going to consistently be able to dish out extra bit of damage just because of that rune choice. So it's a constant. You're always going to have that in secondary.
Come in handy in the bottom lane, and Xiaohan is now nearby. Towards Gromp, it's going to be the vertical start here as Sejuani towards the top side, and Yagao actually might be in a bit of trouble if he sticks around.
Yeah, he has a bad wave right here. He needs to get this one chopped out, which means he needs Gragas in the area. These are bits of communication that I hope that Xiaohan and Yagao are kind of mentioning to themselves.
Going to be too hard considering that, again, Yagao was in this roster back when Xiaohan came through in 2018. But only as a substitute, remember, as he is now.
But take a look at this. I mean, he's playing this lane really well. He's keeping it to his range advantage that Aatrox has. Whenever you look towards the Renekton, you think that the advantage is there simply because of that all-in nature. Now he doesn't have that because he's actually way too close to the turret. It makes it very difficult for him to actually land any meaningful damage on top of Morgan. So Morgan was able to freeze the wave underneath his turret, which is excellent, and now is able to just weave in Qs pretty easily. Curse is in a pretty tough spot.
It's good to see that so far the transition has been good here for Morgan, that living up to the name that we expected him to coming into this. Sejuani is going to be visiting that top side though, so you can see already the pathing here from World 6.
Yeah, I'm just going to flatly put, I don't think many people expected too much from Morgan, especially since he's filling large shoes.
That's true.
Large shoes, a lot of people are flaming JDG simply because of the concept of even the idea of taking Zoom out. But, I mean, Morgan is a very strong player, so I expect a good game from him.
Yeah. Fun fact, or rather a funny moment as World 6 walks past that brush and doesn't actually lens the part of the bush where the ward is, but will still be able to invade nonetheless, go deep for vision here, pick up Grom. That's already what Xiaohan did, who's actually ahead by a lot here in the jungle.
And I think this Sejuani is going to have a tough time around here. Usually you would position yourself here for a dive. I don't think Morgan is really going to give it to you. He has flash. He's near full HP. Good luck towards this one.
Oh, this is going to be big here if Ghost can find it underneath the turret. He's taking aggro. There it is. The turnaround. The flash away from Morgan. He gets World Ender off it as well. JDG's top lane is ready to take the 1v2. He doesn't need the Gragas. I feel like he's going to find this anyway. He comes in for the bump, and Morgan, welcome to the LPL.
That was never going to be a good idea. And you could see the confidence that Morgan has in that exact situation. Uses his flash perfectly, hits level 6 at a perfect timing, so Sejuani can't even clean up the mess. Well done to JDG, but really questionable from World 6.
Yeah, coming in at level 4 Sejuani and wasn't able to juggle aggro. That was a messy start here for OMG's first game. It's going to get even messier, it feels. Yagao hits level 6 and has the ability to use the spell flux.
One of the games that I was watching, the really recent one from...
Woo!
Oh my god!
Was sick. Now Icon's going to get a trade, question mark, as Ignite. Yeah, the minions help out there as well. But that was slick from Yagao.
He does lose 4 minions there, just for that entire thing. So Zoe being able to get that kill is actually pretty damn worth.
Yep.
But man, well done. Full confidence coming in from Yagao there. But one thing I wanted to mention about Morgan, I mean, we've seen this play come from him in the LDL, and he's actually just super confident on the Aatrox pick when he gets dove. He got a 3-man dive on him at one point, and he was able to come in completely unscathed.
It just happened straight away.
I think he actually got 2 kills off that entire thing. So don't dive the man.
He loves diving.
Even after, he was full HP.
I love the video that you show me was him getting dove, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that's who Morgan is. Comes into the LPL,
and it starts.
Minute 5, it happens. Yeah.
But this one was actually, I'm going to rain a little bit on the parade. This was a lot less impressive because we were looking towards the entire thing saying, please, Sejuani, don't do it.
And what does he do?
Does it.
He does, yeah. Either way, you'll take the start here for Morgan, and it's a good confidence booster. The mid lane trade netted a little bit more for the Zoe here with Lost Chapter getting picked up as OMG becoming very proactive at an early part of the game.
Uh-oh.
World 6 being here, well, Xiaohan has the speed up, he's an explosive cast. That's an ult Gragas versus none. And you know what? World 6, you made a boo-boo again. OMG walking through the river in 5, just wishing he wants to get out. He made a mistake too. OMG, what are you doing?
Just full tilt. Imagine it. You think those juicy raptors are yours, but that was the deepest punish I have ever seen for that one play.
A big level difference from the jungle as well. I mean, that's how it started, and we're left with a dragon, a mountain to kick things off. Yagao's going, great, give me another kill, I'd love it.
Mid lane was good for Yagao. Xiaohan was certainly going to be coming back to those raptors. And World 6, the moment he saw Gragas, especially with a Yuumi on top of him, we realized he's going to get ultra collapsed on. I want to see the replay of that one because I also just want to see an enlarged reaction face the moment Gragas starts rolling his way because Yeah, I mean, that was pretty easy from Xiaohan, but even the cast to follow that up, really well done.
What does 5 do at this point? I mean, he walks away. He tries. Yeah.
And that was also just a cancel teleport.
Oh, we're going again. Now 5's going to get out of this one. Culling's going to come through half health. So that's lane dominance here from the Lucian and the Yuumi again.
I think Morgan actually canceled that TP.
Oh, okay.
So that was actually really well done from Morgan. It's one of those debatable moments where it's like, well, I think the Renekton would have died there as well. Maybe you get a little more out of it, but he didn't want to take that chance. Morgan actually keeps him in lane in a really reliable way. So good stuff.
Yep. Great start. He's able to push up, and that's what 2 kills will do for you. You get the lane presence against Curses. Look at this, Renekton versus Aatrox. Have you seen anything so different?
I mean, he had 2 kills early.
Yeah.
And he got Ninja Tabby Kindle Gem off it.
That's great.
He was playing the lane very smartly in the beginning.
Yep.
So, like, once again, the reason why he got to this position was because he was undivable to start. It was just OMG that tried to press it without a mid laner rotating, and so they fully paid the price. At this stage, there's no way you're coming back, and now he's got members coming in to take the kill.
I mean, he popped Dominus here from Curse, and Predator's there. He knows the Gragas is here, and with Zoe coming in as well, 1 versus 3, how do you dodge this? Explosive cast, the synergy's there. Morgan takes it, but Yagao succeeds in his 3rd.
What a clean start to the game from JD. This is a slaughter.
One that OMG are trying to stop. Now, where do you go? What part of the map can you get? They say bot, but Imp and LvMao are already away.
Yeah, I mean, Yuumi's going to give you that extra boost too, so good luck. I mean, at this stage, this is the right idea. Trade and maybe try topside to defend the Rift Trail from taking the inner turret, because that's just going to be something you're conceding.
I think Imp and LvMao, yeah, they can walk in right now.
My
Kane has stayed under for so darn long. Half health, Rift Trail picked up here. Xiaohan's going to back it. Where he puts that, doesn't matter because all lanes have access.
He might just throw a mid, but at this stage, I think Imp can actually protect himself here pretty easily.
And the wave's getting cleared out. The culling comes through. You find a 2-man final chapter underneath turret. OMG in a predicament as the ult comes through. OMG brings 4 members down. 3 almost get 5. Why? Why? Stella! Imp under turret gets ignited. If he dies, I don't care. It was still bogus from OMG. As JDG walked through, Yagao comes in, and look at this. Icon, just leave, please.
Is there an FF button at 11? You know?
Rift Herald down the bottom lane. Yagao, LvMao, and Xiaohan are all going to pick up this turret gold, and OMG already behind 3,000.
But yeah, that entire ordeal, I mean, you don't have to go through it. It really does feel like World 6 had an idea in mind that if they lose that part of the map, just think about the desperation in it. They lose Rift Herald, a lot of time was actually given to the enemy Gragas, so he can actually just come back to base, put it mid lane, and it would be a huge loss towards OMG. They kind of saw it, and they realized that this was really their only opportunity, and it was still batted away pretty easily, so this is that type of game you're in.
Yep.
I mean, once again, Yuumi plays this one out well, not only body blocking the ultimate from World 6, but also layering down the snare on 5 in Kane. This one was incredibly questionable because you should know you're dead there.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to get that one. But
Good on Icon for at least picking up something, I guess.
pesky minions is the answer to that one. But knew that he had the Ignite to follow up on it, so this is one of those games really well done from JD, and when people were questioning them, mostly because the players you take out of the roster, or at least the player actually, Zoom. When you take Zoom out, who's been the primary strength, of course you're going to question everything. But it's really paying off in the end because of how strong of a player Morgan is.
I know for Morgan as well this start, I said it's a confidence booster, I definitely mean it. Has been able to punish that lane on and on. He's 30 CS up. Xiaohan's had a very good early game as well, so.
I will make a mention of this though.
Go.
That anyone in the LDL JD Miracles lineup subs in like the AD carry or the support, and they'll still take this win. I don't know if it's going to be this handily because of how strong Morgan played the first 5 minutes, but right now OMG are making all the wrong moves.
All of them. The Zoe is a good response of that. 5-1 here for Yagao. This is a Zoe game. I know people getting ready because you get to a point here where you're just going to get one shot, even Curse. If Yagao finds a trouble bubble and then a paddle star, it's over. He's dead.
Zoe's just one of the most absurd snowballing champions because she can definitely abuse the terrain through mid lane. So once mid lane turret goes down, the outer turret, we've seen it pretty consistently with top esports when they have the Zoe pick, and that's why a lot of their games with Zoe's a complete snowball. But it's because the terrain through mid is incredibly long, reaches straight towards the mid lane inner turret. So if someone's holding the wave, then you can just be out of vision and still Sleepy Trouble bubble them. It's crazy to even think about it, that nowhere is safe. But speaking of nowhere being safe,
Icon is not doing that much damage. The Aatrox is doing a lot, but here comes the ultimate. He flashes
No
away.
way.
Morgan again. He goes into World Ender. He's ignited down. He has the healing. Now that Xiaohan's here, the buddies are going at it. It's from LDL to LPL that we find ourselves, and we're going to succeed. JDG are looking for more, and Icon take a bullet here, and here as well. Thank you so much for your service. It will take you away.
Morgan just slams them. 1v2. Had the ultimate, so the sustain's going to make it easy. But then Xiaohan comes running to him as well. Easy play from JD, but you feel bad for OMG because that's not necessarily the wrong play to make. That was good. But they're just that far behind.
Yep.
And they weren't going to find that similar play on Yagao. They thought that they could get the burst on towards Morgan. They were wrong.
And then look at this, while JDG picked up yet another of those outer turrets, they move Morgan back to the bottom lane. Renekton has to back away. He can't pick up the turret himself. And even though OMG want to position and get some vision down, it's just so hard at the moment.
I'm telling you, man. Morgan deserves to be a starting player on an LPL lineup. For JD, I don't know. Zoom is very good.
Yes.
But literally anybody else that's not Invictus Gaming.
I mean, this will take some of the flack off his shoulders, right? When you perform well in Zoom's stead, it doesn't matter what they think at the end of the day. They go,
oh,
okay,
what?
Good. Yep, that did not hit the edge. Xiaohan actually going to get caught out on OMG. Going to launch the Yuumi ult here as JDG. This is when Imp starts firing through them. The explosive card's there. And OMG had such a good pick, but now here comes Morgan. Kane over the wall, the flash is there. He just drifts over there. The wings are flapping so clearly. He can find it. He can find it. Kane, he can find it. Where? Dodge left, dodge right, but Morgan will follow with you. And eventually he knocks him down as JDG all survive.
I just love the confidence there from Xiaohan. The machismo on him to just go right in the bush. He's like,
Yeah.
I know exactly where you guys are.
And it didn't matter. The Yuumi gave him a bit of healing and he went golden. The rest of JDG made the rotation like that.
You can literally play these fights however you want. It is a choose-your-own-adventure game. Who are you going to throw at them to be the sacrificial lamb to start this fight rolling?
Turn
This
the
time
page,
around,
JD.
Xiaohan is like, I got this one, guys. Yeah. And Imp was like, he has so little respect for the damage, he can just go straight past first to begin with.
Yep.
Just to dive straight through to World 6. And then you have the full chase. I hope we don't get to see the full chase, because
Nah, we're going to look at the full chase.
this is your nightmare right now. This is you trying to wake up to your nightmare, and you know it's just not happening. You're trying your hardest,
Yeah, this is not good enough, right?
and then you wake up at 11 a.m.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my god, why didn't you wake me up 2 hours earlier?
Well, I don't think we've seen a slaughter like this in a very long time, and one that's been pretty clean here from JDG. I guess the cleanliness of JDG has been part of the question here, so the fact that they're so far ahead is good, but the way they close it out now is what we're looking towards, is the adaptation and the development in this split from JDG. And yes, we know, it's very hard not to close this game out the way it is.
You know, this is one of those wake-up games. You know what? You know what? Which wake-up game?
What?
It's not the wake me up before you go. It's literally wake me up inside.
I can't wake up.
It's
yeah.
that OMG can't wake up. As hard as they try. It's 18 minutes, and one of those players is that one guy that just won't FF.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is that player?
It would be Icon,
Yes.
for sure.
We can win this game.
There is no one else.
It is winnable.
He's 2-2. He's
Guys,
the only
I
person
have
positive.
my gunblade.
It's okay. I've hit my one item. And then meanwhile, Kane steps on a troll bomb. He's like, this is why we can't play the game. I didn't even know how that hit past the minion wave.
All right, let's see. Xiaohan can just do the thing again where he just runs in.
Yeah, do the thing. OMG has stacked 4 members here. They're just worried about the what if. While JDG say, okay, that's fine, we'll get a double Infernal.
Even the RNG gods themselves want them to wrap it up.
Yep.
Infernal Dragon, do you guys need one more?
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of the Optic game earlier today where it's just like, you guys need another Baron? This one is definitely more dragons. What's the next one?
That's Cloud. Okay.
They're easing
Well,
up.
maybe not.
They're chilling out.
It's a 9k gold lead. Double Infernal makes it 10, as far as I'm concerned. What do OMG do apart from lie down?
No, I mean, they have a Sejuani. That's actually the answer.
Yep.
So Sejuani Ultimate's always going to be that guy that makes the pick. Especially if a Zoe's feeling overconfident. You've seen numerous Zoe games where, you know, willing to just leap on in with her ultimate, and then it makes it so much easier for the Sejuani to learn hers as well. So those are something you need to go for, especially since she doesn't have stopwatch. So you don't go for Xiaohan, don't go for top lane, because you've tried a few times on Morgan and he's made you regret it. You definitely try for Yagao.
Yes. Because, I mean, Zoe, there's no stopwatch there as well. So.
I think they're trying for Morgan again. They have too many people on this side of the map, and Renekton is just salivating.
It's hard to pick a side right now, you know?
They seem to be picking the same side, and I think it's the wrong answer.
Maybe it's not. Towards top side, JDG move themselves. This is going to be an easy pick up of the red buff. World 6 walking into unknown territories. He's 2 levels down. He does not win that smite. Do you just Baron here and get it over with, or you just play around OMG walking and thinking you're Baroning?
It's the stats that count. People may tell you otherwise, but you need to pad the stats.
Okay.
Higher, CS per minute.
Right.
You need higher damage percentage, so it's a chase amongst your own teammates now. To answer that more seriously, though, Baron is definitely doable for this team. It really just would be that fear of finding literally the only thing that could get OMG back into the game outside of the Sejuani pick would be a Baron steal. So, I mean, if you're any smart team that doesn't want to just kind of thrust this game into chaos, you probably want to hold out in Baron until you have full vision of the area.
Well, you've got a little bit. You've actually got an opportunity. JDG have been quite lax here on control wards. There's only a couple there on the brush, not as many as you'd expect. And World 6 is clearing it out.
They got a good amount of control wards in their inventory, and Gragas going back to base. Now that they have control wards across their entire team, this is going to be that moment for them to start focusing topside. It's going to be on OMG to find that creative ward. Usually you see at least one green ward either on the left side of the Baron pit, but just out of vision, so they don't get that control warded. Like, you just need to be creative so you know that they're on Baron, and they can't just clear it out.
I think in 21 minutes, as JDG fan, I'd be going, right, next 5 minutes, this gets wrapped. But can you end that quickly?
That is a fast Graggy.
Yeah, he is. He popped Predator. He wanted to move. He's also got Sonya's Hourglass second, so there's no Morellonomicon there to hit that second mark. Instead, he's going in, he's going golden.
Gotcha.
That landed. Yagao's going to go over anyway. You know this is going to happen. World 6 launches the ultimate onto the fast Gragas, and he's still going to keep going forward, but that's a big ultimate just down for OMG.
Defensive Sejuani ultimate because of one sleepy trouble bubble.
Yep.
How you like that? Still pretty good. I was talking about being creative on getting a vision on top of Baron, that they might do it. And they have themselves the Scuttle Crab picked up on top side. So that's as good as you can get, honestly.
Still just searching. JDG just not happy with whatever they're going to do it again. But this time OMG, like, we're not going to have a rinse and repeat. They back away, they get alphaed out, and now you look at the vision.
Much like Victory 5 in the last game, you just go in.
Yeah.
You start just acting randomly. They can't predict it.
Well, you can find yourself a free mid lane turret. Look at Morgan in the side lane. I don't think we've seen enough of it. We saw a couple of kills. All right, hang on. Culling's going to be there from Imp, and he lands almost every shot. Gets a turret in the end as well. All right,
he still
JDG
has the redemption.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to leave. There it is. Does enough healing. Okay. Turret's gone. 23 minutes in, JDG are smacking them.
Sejuani ultimate is still pretty far from being off. In fact, when it's back on off cooldown, they'll probably have already based. So we need someone else to start this one off, and it can't be Icon. He doesn't have stopwatch, so he's actually just going to get lit up.
He's just been farming away looking for that second item, which at the moment, What are we looking at? Banshee failed?
Banshee's
Yeah.
definitely. If you're looking at that team right now, you'd stop a lot from happening. Primarily the Sleepy Trouble Bubble.
Are you ready for this?
Let's go.
2-level advantage for Morgan.
Let's fight.
The chase begins. Curse gets himself a slice and dice, and Morgan's like, whatever, I can't be bothered.
You're free to go, gentlemen.
Just feeling a bit lazy. Well,
All right, we got it.
we there?
We got the Banshees.
Okay. JDG heading towards Baron.
This is the item. Let me tell you how good this item is.
Yeah.
Not good enough.
That was great.
Anytime.
He
actually
doesn't
didn't get
have it.
He
Yeah.
doesn't have it. Okay. That's cool. You know?
Did he get,
Dramatic entrance is
did
what
he
I
get the
was
Sorcerer's
requiring.
Elixir? I think he might have. Sorcerer's Elixir thinking this could be the last fight. Flash and available for here for Icon as Predator's going to get propped here for Xiaohan. World 6 is actually just so vulnerable.
Xiaohan's a wild man. He'll start body slamming bushes. Let me tell you.
He body slammed upward. Still chasing up there.
Smart from Icon to be, playing this one safely. Eyes on towards Baron buff. No wards. There's actually just one. I want to see what it... Oh, there it is. It's not good enough, though.
Not going to spot out JDG. They don't know that Xiaohan's DD Predator's going to be propped. The flash forward here. The ultimate going to be used. There's 5 hots on up. Icon disappears. Xiaohan jumps in once again. Morgan's there. Great explosive cast as the rest of the fight goes the way of Imp, who kites his way backwards. But we all know this is how it's going to end. OMG only delayed the inevitable as Morgan gets reset after reset. And that should be their way into the base.
But that was so sick from Imp. Going straight towards that kill. Knew there was a Renekton trying to nail him down, but was able to kite that one out so well. So there it was, finally finding that team fight to being able to bring this one to game 2.
In 25-minute fashion, they'll get the last kill. They'll run that Nexus down. Game 1 for them, for JDG, is the road to miracles.
That was a game of head scratching for OMG. Realistically, that one was done 6 minutes in, and it's crazy to say that, with how much of a stomp that really was. Don't trip up! Hey! Gotta watch out for these guys.
First game in LPL, I gotta say, Morgan, welcome. Wholehandedly welcome. 2 big plays that I know he's gonna be coining as he enters the scene.
Look, he almost tripped off the stage. If we're just talking about experience, he needs on-stage experience.
Yeah.
All right?
We'll give him a chance.
But at the same time, look, Renekton had no chance to deal damage this game. That's actually insanity. But at the end of the day, you're right. I mean, look, JD came in strong. I think all members involved, Xiaohan and Morgan, no nervousness whatsoever. They were able to play champions that they were very comfortable with. OMG, when we had that earlier philosophical discussion, in set 1 about if you are behind, do you go all in? Do you take a step back? OMG just continued to go forward. And the first one, when they went on the top side dive, he wasn't even behind. They just thought that they could get the kill and massively disrespected the Aatrox with flash and full HP in that situation. So that was unfortunate to see. The bottom lane dive, I understood the idea behind it because they were that far behind and really needed to find any sort of risk and hope that JD was caught sleeping bot side. And they weren't. JD was on top of it.
From minute 1, I mean, it was that, the dive that came through was very interesting, and the whole team just flourished. So at least for game 1, the questions will go out the window and people will say, look, doesn't matter at the end of the day, because that was a great game 1 for Xiaohan to come in alongside Morgan.
Yeah, and I wonder how much we're going to be seeing of these two.
That's a good point.
That's the real question here, because, I mean, it feels unfair for Zoom in this situation to be put in a challenge for position lane, because he's not the reason why JD's in this position. But at the same time, if Morgan is going to be playing to this level consistently is a big point too, because you're not going to have teams in the LPL consistently throw themselves at you like that.
Or just give you a champion like Aatrox as well, which we know he favors.
Yeah, and I still think that it's not a champion thing if he plays on it is definitely, you're right, he favors it. But if he plays Vladimir, Jace, or really anything, he's such a good top laner. But coming into the next game, I just hope that OMG, it's not even a drafting issue, I just hope that they play respectfully and play a slower game.
I agree. Quick words to go by here for OMG. Going into game 2, small break. We'll be back.
can see straight away, you know, the laning priority for FBX means that Doomby can roam up. We talked about these early roams for Suning, but FBX are a better version of Suning. As that wave crashes, it's not going to last very, very long, but they're going to jump in with the hook shot. They're not going to be able to get the kill just yet. There it is. FBX for the first time find themselves maybe a little bit behind on that tempo. Gimgoon going to drop down the cannon barrage, and there comes the man drop as well. The flash comes in on the backside of that as well, as we see Angel just getting completely bursted down here by LWX. It's Jarvan who gets taken out on the top side of this fight. It's a very separated one, and FBX, they're quick to rotate, and they have the globals to be able to punish any kind of overextension.
We're going to wait another 25 as RNG. Look at where Xiaohan is. Ming positioning as well. The control wards are deep.
All right.
Who's he ready? Flash immediately. 3-man Cataclysm. 4-man Pop Blossom. So easy when you know how. And Xiaohan lets the plant life flourish. And that's all you need for RNG to break the bait. Invictus Gaming have their members, 5 members, in the river. Still looking at challenge.
Great double down from RNG, but they're not out of it yet. The Shy is going to be leading them to this fight.
World Ender looking for the cannon. The flash over from Ming. RNG trying to pace upwards. Xiaohan goes back in, finds the ultimate, and so does LvMao. He gets 2, sets up RNG, and the Solar Landers come out huge as the cannon helps get a triple kill over to Xiaohan. See who gets in first. Top lane and mid laner alike. The arrow comes down. Loves CGR with the ult again. Slicing Maelstrom. Hit 5. Somehow he enters the LPL. And that's all you need. A team fighting top laner. And surely RNG now just need to find the Shy and Lucian. Invictus Gaming around it. And that was a sick cannon ulti.